say that the thing that came most naturally to me when I was a child about making was I wasn't actually very interested in depicting people or scenes or telling stories, and I still am not. But what I was fascinated with was pattern and the act of looking. I would draw endlessly these patterns that extended out, and one would spawn another and another, and I'd see how tightly I could do it on a little piece of paper with a very fine pencil. And I found I kind of do the same thing now. I haven't actually progressed. It's really nice to see this drawing up. I made it a few years ago, and I'm getting ready, I can feel it, to make another large botanical work. I like working on this scale, and what feels exciting to me is that you look into it and you're a part of it, you're surrounded by it. You're much more like the pollinator or another plant than you are a human being next to it. And I have always done the botanicals with a really strong sense of hope and optimism for our world, especially as we've sort of felt the grip of our climate disaster sort of bear down on us, because I just feel like everything about health is about intimacy and relationship and continuity, and we are truly part of this web. So these drawings were intended to include you in a way where you felt that. It was a really natural progression into public art. I was already taking up in my sculptural works on the wall that kind of space that needed an expanse of 24 feet or something. You know, I had to learn how to work with engineers and architects and fabricators to realize my work. And I had to do that while maintaining the integrity of my own creative process. And then there's the portion that I get to do, which is to make or have fabricated my artwork. And usually that's a collaboration. And because I come from a craft background, I care a lot about my work being as beautifully crafted and beautifully made as if I was making it in my own studio. Our artwork at the 28th Street Station in New York, I had two of the finest mosaic makers in the world working on that project. They had 15 trained artisans working on those mosaics. And those people love what they do. And I love what I do. And all of that love is embedded in the craft of the piece. And that's a lot to bring to the square inches of a subway stop. What started happening at a certain point was I had a need for my own creative process to shift so that I was feeling more fulfilled within it. And what started happening was I wanted to see what would happen if I didn't know what I was looking for. And I changed my palette to black paper. And I loved the idea of that just signaling mystery, the idea that something would emerge from darkness. Probably I've made, I don't know, 250, 300 of these black drawings. And they can keep popping out. It's like an endless reservoir of not knowing. And what I think I like the most about them is that they're abstractions of action. And then they started to generate this feeling in me like they needed to become objects, and that there was going to be an exchange between sculptural forms and the drawings themselves. So it was pretty exciting to see these come to life. It's been a long time since I've worked in a clay-like material. When they come together as a group, they're vying for relationship and attention, and they're asking questions, and they're playful. And, you know, that's the best of what I have to give, is to include the viewer that way once I've had the experience myself. I think many of us artists run around the country for a good decade or more trying to figure out how are we going to live our lives out as artists. And we form community, and that community is all over, and it's often assembled in these places that help the artist grow. And Penland's one of the greatest places I've ever been.